And the House of Representatives Committee on Aviation has knocked the former Minister of Aviation, Hadi Sirika, over what it called secrecy in the deals and activities of the Nigeria Air. The committee says after careful evaluation of the issues, it's totally dissatisfied with the actions of the former minister in going ahead to flag off the operations of Nigeria Air despite a standing court injunction and without any provision for sustaining the operations of the airline. The committee also frowns at the role played by Ethiopian Airlines, saying it does not speak well of the excellent brotherly relationship that exists between Nigeria and Ethiopia.
On record that the committee and indeed the National Assembly had no role in the purported launch of Nigeria Air or anything related thereof. We as a committee will not accept any attempt by any individual or group of individuals or organization to hide under the project Nigeria Air and siphon our commonwealth. Consequently, the committee hereby resolved to 1. Direct the Federal Ministry of Aviation and its partners in the Nigeria Air project to immediately suspend any operation regarding to Nigeria Air and every other action with respect to Nigeria Air. 2. Urge our new president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, the president and commander-in-chief, to, as a matter of urgency, constitute a high-level presidential committee to undertake a holistic review of the processes of the whole Nigeria Air project and advise the government on the way forward. 3. Ensure that all individuals or groups or organizations involved in the controversial Nigeria Air takeoff are brought to book, prosecuted and sanctioned.
All right, joining us also to take a look at the issues concerning Nigeria Air is Professor Obiora Okonkwo, who is the spokesman for the airline operators of Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us on News Night tonight. You must be...
soothsayer, right?
I mean, I'm sure you're saying, well, I said it. Do you feel vindicated by what, we've been hearing revelations from the acting MD of the Nigeria Air?
Well, you recall that the last time I showed up here, you specifically asked me a question if I was sure of what I was saying. And I made it clear that it's out there in the open and the more will be said even after my visitation here. We are not whistleblowers. We are responsible corporate citizens. We are not interested in any other thing rather than shouting out to protect the aviation industry, to protect the aviation ecosystem, to maintain the integrity of certificate, which is the alter ego in airline operations, which is AOC, Air Operator Certificate. I said here that if anything could have been done to affect the integrity and credibility of AOC process in Nigeria, it will affect the entire operators. So for us, the DG-NCA is a hero of this project. And DG-NCA deserves a national honor and a national award because we were aware from inside sources that they were subjected to tremendous pressure. Call this whatever happened, whatever name they want to call it, but that was not the plan. The plan was that they would bring an aircraft to that so-called Nigerian Air and do everything that is done for an airline that is about to take off. They wanted to do a test flight, they wanted to carry passengers, they wanted to do all those things. But because the NCA insisted that everything must be done according to the rules, then there was what they called, in quote, compromise. The compromise is now tagged a static display. Static display in the industry is only when you see at the air show. You know, you just put an aircraft and people come around to show. So that's the only interest. We are the operators who have invested so much in this industry. For your information, it's there, the facts are clear. Nigerian aviation industry is the fastest growing aviation industry in the whole world.
Fastest growing aviation
Fastest
industry in the whole world. We'll
yes.
come back to you, Prof. Let's take a quick break, and when we return, the conversation continues on Newsnight. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. Of course, we still have Obiora Okonkwo with us, speaking on the latest developments in Nigeria's aviation sector, specifically Nigeria Air.
Okay, we understand your explanation so far, Prof. But then, do you see information mismanagement or communication mismanagement in all of this?
Not at all. Those things were deliberate plan and efforts by the Ministry of Aviation. And this information were open, that's why we know it. Except that somebody somewhere probably tried to close it up and then a kind of confused situations in Nigeria. So I don't think so. It was a deliberate plan. It was clear that they were not ready for these operations. And for the reason why they wanted to hurry it, it wouldn't have been the business of AON, but it's just that forcing NCA to give the certification outside the due process was our only single concern. And I repeat, in the last 6 months, you've had 2 new airline operators in the Nigerian system. You have the Binani Air, you have Rano Air, and you have some other third one, something jet. So we want people to come in, and AAN cannot stop anybody who has met the conditions precedent for NCA to grant a license. We can't stop it. But the only one says that don't use your police position of influence as a minister, as a ministry, to twist the hands of AOC to force them to go outside the process. But as soon as that is done, it affects the entire AOC certificates that are here, and then NCA will lose certification from ICOA even to grant further AOC.
In fact, I was actually coming there, okay, because what does it portray? What does it mean for Nigeria in the international community?
Yeah, what it means is that, you see, for every single airline that has an AOC, you have a file with NCA. And this file is subject to periodic audit of ICOA. I think the NCA is due anytime from now. They have to come in and check all the processes that have led to that AOC, and to ensure that everything is done according to the certified international standard. Because aviation is a global village.
Absolutely.
The rule that applies in Nigeria, applies in America, applies in Japan, and that's the reason why APs could take off here and fly to China.
Absolutely.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be subjected to the certification process of China, because they assumed that NCA had done the right thing. So if NCA is found wanting, they don't care about what, it's about safety. AOC, like I've said in one of my press releases, is just simply safety. It's a safety certificate.
Right.
So if you truncate that, then the whole industry has collapsed on our head. Our investment is finished.
Very great point that you make there. Now that we have these revelations from the MD, who, in his own words, it was just a chartered flight, and the aircraft has since returned or gone back to sender, if you like we say in this part of the world. What does that mean now? Is it that Nigeria Air is dead on arrival, that you should not take off, having taken off before? Because we actually said the last time you were here, we said the eagle has landed, but it looks like the eagle has disappeared, has taken off again. And from all indication, at least from what we've heard, that Nigeria actually spent $300 million on just a painting job. Is that what it is?
No.
Where do we go from here?
I didn't hear that. You see, I'm not really interested in the finances spent. That's not my focus. But I don't think they've spent $200-something million. They may be saying it's needed for operation.
Right.
But you may have said the last time I was there that the eagle had landed. But I replied by saying it was dead on arrival because it doesn't work that way. I was at the hearing today, and DG NCA was asked if he knew about that aircraft coming to Nigeria and everything about it. He said he did not know anything about it. He had no records. And by rule, if any aircraft is coming under a supposed registered Nigerian name, you must have to submit the credentials and documents to NCA for certification. NAMA DG was asked about the arrival of the aircraft and the permit. He said NAMA granted Ethiopian Airlines permit for charter flight. So it has nothing to do with Nigeria Air. So for us,
are you saying this Nigeria Air project should not go on in spite of the fact that Hadi Sirika, the former aviation minister, may have bungled it in terms of process? Is that what you're saying?
No, it is not. We in AON do not even have an authority to stop process of Nigerian Air if it's going according to the rules, regulations, and procedure. We don't have to dictate for the executive what they have to do. That's not our interest. If they want to set up, let them set up the proper way that we have. I have a privilege. United Nigeria has a privilege to receive the first AOC under this new leadership of NCA.
Prof.
And I've taken our certification process to the highest level, up to international standard.
Amazing.
We know what we're benefiting. I know what I went through. It was thorough. It was rigorous. And having gone through that process and seen somebody jumping from somewhere, I wanted to get an AOC.
Right.
It was enough to shout at.
By the way, let's not forget to congratulate you. You've taken delivery of 12 additional aircraft as well.
Well, we have signed on and we should be taking delivery starting from the next 3 months.
Now, Prof, before we let you go,
in batches, yeah.
Great. Before we let you go,
Yes.
I'm particularly bothered about regaining the Nigerian flying community's confidence. You know, the passengers' confidence. When we if and when we eventually take off, how do you hope that the confidence can be restored in an average Nigerian passenger?
Take off what? Take off for what? Take off Nigeria Air?
Of a Nigeria Air, as in flying
Well,
Nigeria Air.
I know that an average traveler in Nigeria knows that our air is safe. The air is safe because NCA is doing what they gotta do as the regulator. And the air is safe because the operators are very, very serious people and are doing what they have to do. So 95% human, everything that is humanly possible is being done. And I can tell you that they fly, the industry is booming.
Would they want to fly Nigerian Air? Would Nigerians want to fly Nigerian Air?
But I wouldn't answer that for Nigeria. If Nigerian Air comes on stream, it's Nigerians to decide. I mean, I don't think that should be. But if they come, if they don't,
very quickly
yes.
before we let you go, what are you doing about the issue of delayed flights, and not just delayed by 30 minutes, sometimes as much as 6 hours and more? What are airline operators doing about that? Very quickly.
You see, aircrafts are meant to fly, and for any operator, aircraft on the ground does not fetch you any revenue. So we want to fly, and until you fly on time to cover your period, you will be losing money. So if there is any reason for any aircraft to be delayed, it must have been for something that has to do with safety, which today nobody plays with. Before certain strict regulations, people could just manage. Nobody manages anything now. That's why I can tell with all sorts of assurance that the air is safe within human possibilities. So if there is a delay, it is for a reason that is genuine. And delays are seen in every part of the world. It's not only in Nigeria. If you go to America, you can be delayed. If you go to UK, I mean, for so many reasons. So that there is a delay is not a Nigerian factor. And for us, if we fly on schedule, everybody is happy, and then the staff have their schedule rosters within the work period, because aviation is regulated. If you have 8 hours to work and you have a delay that is beyond that 8 hours, you must have to fly in new crew to take over from the old crew. So for
We'll
us,
have to leave it there.
we are happy that we have been vindicated. And let it be known to Nigerians that we are not whistleblowers. We are investors who have invested multi-billions of naira in this sector. We want to protect it. And then the people out there are afraid of this industry, Nigeria, because of the growing rate in this country. Ethiopian is afraid of us. And they want to use this opportunity to sit on us and silence us, because very soon there is coming up on board what they call single air traffic in Africa. So you can take off from here and land anywhere. And so they want to monopolize the airspace, and we don't want to allow them to do that. We are ready for fair and open competition.
Fantastic. That's a good place to leave it. Obiora Okonkwo, Professor, thank you very much for joining us. United Airlines, of course, wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.